All right, it's time. Look at Jackson's ready to go. We're leaving the hotel right now.
You want to say hi? So it's 7:30 in the morning. Our car is coming. We're headed to the airport. We're gonna get on an airplane, and we're gonna go home.
Yeah.
What do you think, buddy? Are you ready to get on the airplane?
No.
No, he doesn't want to leave.
I think it's going to be a wild day for us because when we get home, it's basically going to be his bedtime. And we're like...
His bedtime?
Yeah. We get home at like 6:45.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we lose 3 hours.
Oh.
So we get on the plane at like 10, fly for 5 hours, and lose 3 hours. So...
Oh, man. Yeah, today's going to be weird.
Today's going to be real weird.
Oh, okay. Well, let's
Wish us luck.
See how this goes. A secret tunnel?
Secret tunnel. Alright, touch the plane, buddy. Did you touch it? Boop. There you go, buddy. You did it.
Someone's awake. Jaxie, did you sleep good on the plane? Yeah? I think he slept for like a little over an hour. You did pretty good, buddy. Now we're almost back home. And I was watching... Oh, it went away. I was watching Are You Afraid of the Dark? There it is. It's very cloudy at home. Something that I thought was interesting is that the pilot said that the flight was bad.
Yeah.
He said I was not happy with the turbulence at any altitude.
Yeah.
But I didn't think the flight was bad at all. Yeah, I thought it was actually a pretty good flight. So, ooh, look at the water. Can you see that? I don't know. Yeah, do you see the like water going by?
Out the window?
Yeah. I don't know if you guys can see it. It looks like kind of nuts. But yeah, the flight wasn't bad, and Jackson did really, really well. I was very proud of him. So, thumbs up for his second flight.
It used to be 6.
Again?
Now it's 7 minutes.
I know, we gained a minute. How'd that
Gained a
happen?
minute. We're traveling. Time traveling.
Again? You want to go fly back to California and come back to Orlando?
That's a long time, buddy. I think our luggage is going to be all wet when we get it.
I think it's going to be a bumpy landing.
Yeah.
Feels bumpy already. Whoa.
Ooh.
Oh no, did your stomach go in your throat?
Yeah, it dropped about like 50 feet.
Oh, did we?
Like more than 50.
Uh-oh. It's like Tower of Terror, but on a plane. Open.
Oh, that's what they say.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful about that sort of thing.
Oh my gosh. What do you think, bud?
What did he say?
He's just saying snacks.
Snacks.
You just want to eat.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure welcoming you to Orlando.
Yeah,
The local time
bumpy,
is
right?
approximately 6 p.m. Please stay seated with your seatbelt fastened and carry-on items stowed until the aircraft is parked at the gate and the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign. Please be careful when opening overhead bins to prevent injury from any items that may have shifted during flight.
Like that one.
In the next few hours,
Did we just land, buddy?
Oh my gosh, he's like wild now.
I know.
Okay, buddy, let's
It's
go.
your bedtime now.
I know. Also, literally, like right as we were landing, he had the biggest poop.
Oh no.
Yeah.
All right, you're doing good, buddy. We're in an airport and we're headed home. I love it. Every time that we go underneath anything, he has to call it a secret tunnel. Ah, we just missed the amp.
Oh, look at all the golden statues.
Yeah. Orange Bird, Bambi and Thumper. Yeah, celebrating Frozone. Mickey. Who is that? Donald, that's right. nice rainy ride. All right, back home and back to the old grind of watching Bluey.
We did stop at PDQ on the way home to get just some, because it's late, so we're like, we'll just grab food on the way. Mm-hmm. And they have their turkey sandwiches.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I agree.
I had the spicy one.
I had the regular.
He ate all of his food though.
Jackson, you have ketchup on the side of your face and cookie all over your shirt.
What?
You are a complete and utter mess.
Say, Daddy, it's my bath time. I'm allowed to be messy.
Jackson, do you want to put your rocks that you got from California in your rock jar?
Jaxie, do you want to put your rocks in the jar?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to pause this, okay? Yeah, I'm going to pause it. Yeah. In your bucket?
Right. Let's do it.
Let's put our rocks in there. Yay! Okay, let's do it.
Put them in there.
Look at all these cool rocks.
Baby what?
Yeah, baby rocks.
Well, buddy, how many rocks did you pick up?
I brought back every little teeny tiny rock that he put in my pocket while we were anywhere.
It was so funny because we were at DCA and he was just putting rocks in your pocket and you probably had like 15 rocks in your pocket.
Yeah. All right, last one.
Nope, one more. Boop! All right, our
job.
trip is officially over.
You did it, buddy.
Is that so exciting? Yay!
You ready to take a bath now? Let's see
Yes.
if we can get you to go to bed at... It's like 8:15 right now. He normally starts to go to bed at 7, so pushed it back like another hour.
I think we're going to have to slowly get him back on Florida time. It'll probably take us about a week, I think.
Yeah.
We'll just like gradually push
I'll
him.
keep trying to put him to bed at 7, but he'll
Right.
probably like fight it until like
I think so,
later
yeah.
and later and later. So.
All right, but it's not time to drive the car. It's time to go get in the bathtub.
Night, mommy.
Night, night,
I
buddy.
love you, mommy.
What?
My Crocs.
Crocs, yeah.
Those are my Crocs.
Teal.
And teal.
Say I love you, mommy.
Love you, mommy.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
what
love
about
you
Daddy?
too.
Do you love daddy?
Yeah.
Say I love you, daddy.
Love you, mommy.
Only mommy. Oh, mommy, daddy.
What time is it in California right now?
5:45.
Uh-oh. Yeah, well, we'll see.
So it's going on 10 o'clock and Jackson is still awake. He's like fighting it hardcore, and I understand that because it's the time change. Like, I'm not really tired right now either. Do you guys have any tips or tricks on how to like reset a time change with a kid or a baby? But like, how do you bring him back to normal schedule? I think it's what time I need to wake him up tomorrow. I think that's the big thing. I need to wake him up at 7 and like get breakfast in him. I think that's the thing that everybody says, like, that's how you reset your internal clock right away, is you like wake up and you eat breakfast right away at a normal time in that time zone. But I don't know. You know, maybe that could be like a myth. Who knows? So it's about a week later and we've had some time to really think about the trip and like what we learned on the trip, and if there was anything that we would do differently or if there was stuff that we would do the same. And we kind of wanted to go over a few of those things with you guys here right now. So the very first thing that we learned is how to do a plane flight with a toddler. So I would say that we didn't get him a seat on this flight.
Well, so this was the very last flight that we could take. So the next flight that we have, he'll be 2 years old. So
Right.
we technically do have to buy him a seat. On this plane flight, he was young enough that we didn't have to buy him a seat. And so we thought, okay, we'll take advantage of that so we can save a little bit of money. But I think from this trip, we learned that we definitely would probably do better with him in his own seat.
Right. Because he doesn't like to not be in control.
Right.
So like if we're like, no, you have to sit right here, he's like, no, I want to do what I want to do. And so if we were like, hey, you can sit in your seat, this is your special seat,
Right.
I think he would do better.
Well, and I think just he's a big kid. So
Right.
like having him sit on our laps wasn't necessarily the most comfortable thing for him or for us. So yeah, I think having his own seat, although it'll cost us more money, I think it's 100% going to be worth it.
Yeah. Also, we had planned for him to take a nap on the flight out there. And like, I don't know why he didn't nap. I think it's just he was excited.
Yeah, I think it was like he's on an airplane for the first time. I think we probably just should have known that he wasn't going to nap.
Mm-hmm.
So that sort of threw off our schedule for the rest of the day. So that's another thing that I think that we learned on this trip is that we really have to go by his schedule.
Right.
So if he, needs to leave wherever we are so that he can take a nap, we just kind of have to roll with it, and we just kind of have to go with the flow of his schedule.
Right.
Which is totally fine. Like, that's something that we definitely don't mind doing, but I think we realized how important that is to do on this trip.
Right. Another thing that we learned about the plane flight is that distractions for Jackson are a must.
Yeah.
So like we brought the iPad, we got him some little headphones that had they were noise limiting. So like there's a specific decibel level that is safe for babies' ears. And these headphones that we got, and we'll put a link to them in the description down below, make sure that the volume of whatever he's listening to never goes over top of the safe level.
Right. Another thing that was great about these headphones and having the iPad is that I didn't realize how far away, because we were sitting at the bulkhead, so our little TV screen was pretty far away. So I think him having the iPad so he could have it a little bit closer so he could actually see it, and just having his over-the-ear headphones, because they did give headphones on the plane, but I don't think he would have used them.
No, they were earbuds.
So I think just having that closer to him felt more like home too.
Right.
So it felt a little more like his normal routine.
Right. And we didn't have any issues with his ears, and I think that's because we gave him the pacifier.
Oh yeah.
And that's speaking of things that help you pop your ears. Another thing that I learned is that for Jackson, we need to bring just like a ton of snacks.
Oh yeah.
Just like have animal crackers at the ready, because him eating distracts him.
Right.
So like that keeps him in one place, and like calm is him, like if he just has animal crackers to eat or something like that.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad that we just brought a ton of snacks. That was good.
So one thing that I had a question about before we flew for the first time with Jackson was, should I bring a car seat on the plane? And they're not required. If your child is more comfortable in a car seat, like Jackson likes the car seat, he can sleep in the car seat, but he doesn't like to be in it for too long. So that's why we didn't bring it. And also, we didn't rent a car when we got out there. So we would have just been lugging around a car seat.
So we decided to like forego the car seat, but I can definitely see how it could be beneficial to families to have the car seat on the plane and on their trip. We just chose not to have it, and I think we did okay without it, but it's definitely something to think about if you're traveling with a toddler.
And when he moves into his own seat, one thing that I'm looking at is they sell these kind of like strap kits that are approved by the FAA that kind of like go around his chair and connect to his seatbelt, so that it's like a full shoulder harness and lap belt. I haven't done a lot of research on it, but I'm looking into it right now.
Okay.
And the other thing is, speaking of car seats, we did hire a car service, and a lot of people were asking what the name of that car service was, and it was Flat Rate Car Services, and we didn't mention it at first because we wanted to test them out to see like how they did.
I didn't want to mention it in the first video, and then let's say like throughout the week as we used them, we realized it wasn't a great service or something. We would hate to recommend something not great to you.
Right.
So now that we used them for the entire week and we had time to think about it, I think that it was a good car service.
Right. So we used the car service to get from the airport to Grand Californian, from Grand Californian to the Hilton in Hollywood, and then from the Hilton in Hollywood back to the airport. So we had 3 trips with them. They were great on all 3. Showed up on time, helped us with the luggage. They had a car seat already in the car.
Yeah, they actually had 2 car seats.
Right.
Yeah, just in case, one wasn't the right size or, what have you. And they set everything up for us, and everything was set up correctly. And it was really nice to have that, just to have that.
Right. And as I was doing my research, it turned out to be cheaper to get the car service than it was to rent a car and pay for parking at the different hotels that we were staying at.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind when you're planning, if you're planning a trip out to California or traveling anywhere. You got to look at all of your options.
Yeah.
So like it might be cheaper to do a car service. And I even looked into the I don't know what it's called. There's an app where you can like rent other people's cars.
Oh, so it's like ride sharing, but you drive the car.
Right. And I didn't
car sharing.
Yeah, car sharing. I didn't find one that allowed me to go from the airport and then have them pick the car up at Grand Californian. I would have had to have taken it back to the airport. So I would have had to have had it for the entire time.
Right.
And then I'm doing rental fees and parking fees again.
Well, the other thing that was really great about, So because we were staying at the Grand Californian and because we were staying like right outside of Universal Hollywood, we didn't go outside of the bubble.
Right.
We didn't go outside of the Universal bubble. We didn't go outside of the Disneyland bubble. So we didn't need our own car.
Right.
We could just, walk over to the food places at the hotels or at Downtown Disney or at City Walk. So we never really needed a car outside of those 3 trips. So also think about that when you're planning your trip. Do you need your car to drive to get food or to the, supplies at the grocery store or what have you? We didn't need that. So that's why the car service also worked for us.
I will say though, this is specific to California. Coming to Orlando is a different thing altogether because everything is very spread out in Orlando.
Right.
So like if I were coming from California to Orlando, I would probably want to rent a car.
Yeah.
Just because the airport's far away from Disney.
Right.
Every Disney park is far away from each other.
But there is modes of transportation that Disney provides. So like the bus system, the Skyliner, the monorail.
Boats, yeah,
there are ways to get around within the Disney property. But if you wanted to go to like Publix, that might be a different story. Right. Although I would look into like delivery services too.
Yeah, you can get like Instacart and stuff delivered to the hotels.
Right.
Or Amazon has one too, Amazon Fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do really recommend the car service. Like even if you don't go with the one that we used, just looking into that, I would recommend it.
So once we got to Disneyland and actually going to the park, we realized that there's no chance of having a plan for going to the park with a toddler.
Right.
Like I thought, okay, we'll go do Alice and then we'll be able to do teacups and this and that and this and that.
I also don't think that we thought it was going to be as busy as it was.
Right.
Like I really was expecting a much less busy park. So the lines were pretty long. So we really couldn't ride as much as we wanted to, just with the line lengths and the nap schedule.
Right.
And that's okay. I definitely feel like satisfied with the things that we did because they were the things that we made a plan. We're like, we definitely want to do this. We want to get him on the train. We want to ride Alice. We want to try this food. We want to do this. And we were able to do all of the things pretty much that we wanted to do.
Right.
We just had a small list.
Yeah. And the plan didn't go like I was thinking like, oh, we'll get to ride a bunch of stuff on the first day. But then we only got to ride 2 things on the first day.
Right.
And then it was time for a nap. And it's just, you kind of just have to go with it,
I think this trip really was a learning experience. So I think on our next trip, hopefully we'll be able to squeeze more things in. Mm-hmm. But
I think as he gets older, I think it'll be easier.
Well, but another thing that I wasn't ready for was the time difference. So the first day he slept in for kind of a while.
Yeah.
And we let him sleep. He needed to sleep. He was tired. So I think that was something that I wasn't expecting. I wasn't planning for.
Right.
But now that we know, I think we can plan better for next time.
Right. Because he did. He woke up at 4:30 that day and then went back to sleep at like 6.
Yeah, but he slept for kind of a long time.
Right.
Yeah. So.
So yeah, there was just a few things that we learned that was the other thing is Disneyland doesn't have a lot of food options for toddlers in the same way that Disney World has food options for toddlers.
Right.
So like pretty much anywhere you go in Disney World, you can get an Uncrustable, you can get grapes, you can get what are those things called? Apples.
They have like these power packs that they kind of have pretty much everywhere. That's just like a little like a lunchbox kit basically for kids. And they didn't really have that at Disneyland.
Right.
So it was hard. Like I know the day that you went to get a massage and it was just me and Jackson in the park and he was hungry and we were just trying to find something to eat that was not mobile order because I didn't have the app on my phone, but also not like a super long line. So we found the chimichangas and that worked because those were mild enough for him and he ate it okay. But it was really like just where can I find animal crackers? Where can I find like things like that. It was tough.
Yeah. And that's so interesting to me that like Disney World is easier in that fact.
Yeah. But they did have a lot of great options. So we went to the Storytellers Cafe for breakfast and they had great options there for him. Any of the sit down places had a ton of not a ton, but had options for him.
Right.
But the like grab and go type places or the quick serve type places, it was a little different.
Right. And this could also be that like when we are traveling with a toddler, we don't have time and he's hungry. You don't have time to like go through the app and like look at every single quick service or every single restaurant, and
You
then
have to
like
just get something.
like, oh, okay, there's one back in Critter Country, and then like truck from the hub all the way back to Critter Country.
Right.
Like they're just, you just would hope that like, oh, okay, there's a place right here, a Carnation Cafe.
Yeah.
I can just get an Uncrustable right there, but you can't.
Right, yeah.
So, and then we went to Universal, which I feel like was probably a mistake for this trip.
Well, I think, okay, so I definitely think the next time that we go to Universal, we will not spend 2 days there.
Right.
I don't think that there was enough for him to do over the span of 2 days.
There are 2 rides and 2 playgrounds that he could play on.
Right.
So, I guess 3 rides, because he could have ridden this stationary seat on Despicable Me.
Right.
So, but we have that here in Orlando.
I do think that it was something that a lot of you guys left comments and you're like, I would just skip Universal. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I would skip it because I want to go there.
Right.
So I think we would at least spend a day, doing the
Plus the characters were neat for him to see.
Oh, the character, yeah, that was a highlight of that trip, was him, meeting Frankenstein's monster, meeting Hello Kitty as the bride, and seeing the Minions, although the Minions did scare him a little bit. But something that some of you mentioned in the comments that I didn't even think about was a lot of people were like, why didn't you go to Knott's Berry Farm?
Well, yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, we probably should have done that because they have a huge kids area that's like all the Snoopy stuff.
Yeah.
And you're right, we probably should have done that. They have the train. So maybe on our next trip, we'll do that. Also, after seeing their Halloween stuff, so if we do decide to go during Halloween next year, their Not Scary Farm is, a lot of people said they liked it better than Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood. Yeah. So next year, I hope that we can see that.
Yeah, we will. I will put a little asterisk next to the fact that there's only 3 things that Jackson can do because they are building Super Nintendo Land at Universal Hollywood.
Oh, right.
So, like, when that opens, I know for sure that there's definitely at least 1 ride that Jackson can ride there.
Right.
Maybe more. I haven't looked into all the rides that are there, but I know for sure there's 1.
Well, and I think him just seeing the land will be exciting because it is very bright. It looks like a video game. I think that'll hold his attention just walking around the area.
Yeah.
Hopefully there'll be characters out and things like that. But as of right now, there's just not enough for him to do there to justify more than 1 day. So, yeah, we definitely learned that quick.
And it was interesting, too, because there is... So, with Disney World, Disneyland, there's an age. So, like, once the kid turns 3, then you have to pay for their tickets. Mm-hmm. With Universal Hollywood, once they reach a certain height, so anybody under a certain height gets discounted tickets.
Right, yeah.
So, like, Jackson, because he was under 3, he got him for free, but then he gets a discounted ticket until he reaches a certain height to where he can ride more rides.
Mm-hmm. So which makes sense. I'm glad that they do that.
Yeah. I just thought it was really interesting that was the thing. And I'd be interested to see how he does with, like, Waterworld, with the Waterworld show.
I think he would have liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I just don't know. I can't remember how loud it was.
There was a couple of big explosions.
Yeah.
But that was closed because of Halloween Horror Nights.
Right.
So the Halloween house was there. Halloween 4 house was there where the Waterworld normally is.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So, yeah. So those are the things that we learned on this trip to Disneyland and Universal Hollywood. Mm-hmm. I was not discouraged at all by traveling with a toddler. It was fantastic. He really enjoyed it. It was difficult, but it was worth it.
Well, and I think that, like, just having so many firsts on this trip, it was very exciting for us and for him. So having his first plane ride, he loves airplanes. He loves seeing them in the sky. So to actually be sitting in one and be flying in one was very exciting. His first trip to Disneyland, although it was tough with the time change and with just him being a toddler, it was worth every, like, tough moment because we ended up having a really great time.
Yeah.
I think even though he couldn't do much at Universal, the things that he could do, he really enjoyed. So I do think it was worth it, even if we spend less time there on our next trip.
Right.
I think it was still, the trip was worth it. He loved Secret Life of Pets.
We do have annual passes to Universal Hollywood now.
Yeah, so that's the other thing that you should know is Universal is just expensive.
Right.
It's just, like, way more expensive than I think the Universal in Orlando. Mm-hmm. And their Horror Nights is more expensive. So keep that in mind when you're going. I don't know. I don't know that I would go next year.
Well, I will. Well, to Horror Nights?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Because I know that, COVID, we'll have to see what the announcements are. If they announce, like, we're back on the back lot, we've got more houses.
Yeah.
like that sort of, there's scare zones everywhere, then I would consider it again. Also, it should be, like when I was talking about the annual passes, it was cheaper for us to buy annual passes to Universal Hollywood than it was for us to pay for 2 single-day tickets.
Right. So it is pricey.
Right.
For sure. But with your annual pass, you can get discounts and things like that. So it, I don't know, could save you a little bit of money. Probably not much, but a little bit.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It was a good trip.
I also want to mention too, because I did see a lot of people who were talking about the parties at Disneyland specifically. So something I wanted to mention, and something that we talked about in a previous video on the trip, we had tickets to Oogie Boogie Bash, and we ended up having to postpone our trip. We gave our tickets to a friend, and then we thought, oh shoot, we're not going to be able to go to the Oogie Boogie Bash now because it's completely sold out. But we went down to the guest services desk at the Grand Californian, just on a whim. You know, do you guys have any tickets for tonight by chance? And they did. So if that's something that you are also running into, if you go to the hotel and maybe just ask them, like, do you happen to have any tickets for sale for whatever party is happening? I would recommend doing that, because you just never know. You might be able to get a ticket.
Slight asterisk to that. I think that they do reserve them for people that are staying at the hotel, though.
Okay.
So, like, because we were staying at Grand Californian, we were able to buy the tickets. If you were just coming in off the street, like, hey, I'd like to buy tickets, they'd be like, what room are you in? You're like, I'm not. And they're like, oh, we don't have any.
Right. But if you're staying there, it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah. Plus, if you're there for the holiday season, you'll get to see the Muppets singing Christmas carols.
I know, I'm really sad that we missed out on the Christmas stuff. It looks so good.
Right.
So I am very excited because we have some fun Christmas stuff coming up here for Disney World that we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, although we love Halloween, our Halloween season was kind of extended into November because this trip was a little bit later for us. But I am so ready for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Christmas
is starting now.
It's already started. Where were you?
I was at a Christmas event.
Something I want to mention before we end the video, this was the piece of merch that I got from Universal Hollywood. So I got one T-shirt. We didn't get anything.
Right. So I found a Horror Nights shirt that was a pass holder shirt, and I was like, oh, I'm a pass holder now. I could get this. They didn't have my size because we went at the end of the season. So, and then every other piece of Horror Nights merchandise was either exactly the same as Orlando or very similar to Orlando. So I didn't want to get something that was like very similar to what we had or the same as what we had.
Right.
I found that one shirt, but they didn't have my size.
I definitely think that they are missing out on like the merch.
Right.
Like we would have definitely bought more things if they had anything.
Yeah.
So we got one thing. I do like this shirt a lot though. I am very happy with it.
It's a cool shirt.
It is, yeah. But I do wish that they had more like toddler size stuff.
Oh yeah.
2T and 3T, I said this in one of the videos, but I think they're really missing out on those size items. I wish they had more because I would buy them.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't find a lot of merch.
So we wanted to pose this question to you guys. Have any of you traveled with a toddler cross country or even just a short trip? Do you guys have any tips for traveling with a toddler? Like maybe we could help each other out in the comments and leave us a comment down below. Let us know your tips for traveling with kids, toddlers, babies.
We have another trip coming up, and I would definitely love to read through your comments to see if there's anything else that we can do to like improve our traveling. You guys always have good suggestions, so I am excited to see what you have to say.
Yeah. So all in all, it was a fantastic trip. We hope you guys enjoyed watching these videos from that. We're moving into the Christmas season now, and
Disney Cruise Week is coming up,
which is also
Christmas. That's right. We went on a Maritime cruise. Yeah, so get ready for that. We're very excited to share that adventure with you guys.
So we have a couple of things from around town first, then we're all cruise all the time. So with that being said, we are off. We will see you all tomorrow. And now it's time to pay the price.